What is Scrum? The first thing about Scrum is it's a framework. If it is a framework, which means it's an overall skeleton which gives you certain roles, artifacts, events, and then there are certain rules around them, and we have to build on top of that. Scrum is a process framework. To basically it gives us a way how do we run our day-to-day work. It does not necessarily mean the engineering aspects of things that we are doing, which means in software Scrum is not about how you code, how you integrate. Scrum is found to be most useful in complex domain. There is uncertainty, requirements are not clear, requirements keep changing, technology keeps emerging. So whenever things are not sure, Scrum is going to give you the most ROI. We call it complex adaptive problems can be solved by Scrum. Scrum is based on which theory? Empirical. Our decisions are based on our learnings, not any other theory, which means if you have to take a decision on something, what do? Do an experiment and immediately based on the facts take a decision, do further experiment and keep on doing that, and the more experiments you keep on doing, the more your decisions become more and more appropriate. Is it fine? So it is an empirical process theory which are based on 3 particular ingredients, 3 particular characteristics, which are the most important. The first one is the transparency, the next one is inspection, and the last one is adaptation. So what does it mean? Keep things transparent. So significant aspects must be clearly visible to people who are working on it. That is the meaning of transparency. And what is inspection? Evaluation of what? Anything, product, how are we doing? So let us look at it, that is inspection, and based on the findings of the inspection we do adaptation. Simple. So in short it is a PDCA cycle: plan, do, check and act, and you go back to planning and doing. Our complete cycle becomes planning, okay, then actually doing, and then doing, inspect and adapt. Very similar to plan, do, check, act. Now inspect and adapt observations will go back to your planning. Are we doing the same thing again and again and again? There are events for doing all this. For planning, what is the event? The sprint planning. What is a sprint? It is a delivery cycle, 1 week to 1 month. So we fix the maximum time allocated to our work, which is again called as time boxing. So sprint is nothing but a time box duration where work is done. So planning is sprint planning. What is doing in Scrum? So I am doing, we are a Scrum team. Execution. So you actually do not do sprint execution, you execute your work during the sprint. Now for us when we are talking about software, the work could be coding, testing. Is that making sense? But what is doing in Scrum process means doing the daily Scrum without fail. That is what, as part of doing what you have to do as part of the process, daily Scrum, which is mandatory. What is the purpose of daily Scrum? Team sync up. Now say which team? Scrum team, customer team, development team. The development team must need to be aligned and must be in sync. So as part of inspect and adapt, the key inspection and adaptation happens for the product increment that you build and the process. First you look at the product, how the product is coming by giving demo to the customer, and by giving demo to the customer or stakeholder you are removing the risk, and that improvement goes into your next level of items. Secondly, once that part is over, you inspect and adapt the process and the relationship between team members and the people. And then our learnings from both product demo or sprint review plus retrospective or process improvement is fed back into the next cycle. So we have this, what you call as the iterative process. Iterative means repetitive development cycles, and incremental is the delivery of the product or the service. You do not deliver everything in one go, you deliver it in incrementally.